I was on the RB instead of B, so
What was the difference on those two?
we had 3 or 4 extra crew members. ECM operator, we were recon, so that's the difference, you know. And the configuration in the inside was different too. So,
What kind of equipment did you carry
and what?
in the R model?
ECM equipment and the photography, the front Bombay, they only had 2 Bombays. They took front Bombay into a photo section. So you had two photographers up there. And you had another extra 3 or 4 ECM operators. So actually the crew was 21 instead of 15.
And what was your position then?
Electrician gunner, right? The lower left, the lower right.
What kind of gun was in there?
220 millimeters.
A little loud when they went off?
You couldn't even hear them actually. You hear a little vibration, but the noise, you know. Usually we were up at 40,000 and you were in oxygen and everything else, and it wasn't too much of heard. The only thing was a little cold, but at least they had heat.
Was your suit heated up or you had heat in the aircraft?
The heat of the aircraft was from the Indians. If it was piped in, you had the heat. But the trouble was, the heat was in the middle of the aircraft, and being a gunner, you're up against the skin of the plane, and it was cold, you know.
That is fascinating.
But I liked it too, you know, 4 years, I had 2.5 years of flying in it, so I never expected to it, but last time I went to aircraft and engine school, they sent me to electrical school, AC and DC, and they never mentioned anything about where you were going, brief for your ground crew or, you know, working the bench or something. And they sent us out to Rapid City, South Dakota. And they didn't mention nothing. They got us together and they broke us up into three groups. They had 3 squadrons up, 10 planes each. And then they broke it to us, you're going to go on flying status, you're going to be a gunner. So they sent us to school for about 6 weeks on the base, and that was it.
How many missions did you fly?
We flew at least once a week. And they range from 20 hours to maybe 15 to 20 hours, according to what they're. If it was a bombing mission, they had a photograph. They had to do some surveying, you know, where a government project. They had to take photos of it. And they usually start at 40,000 feet and gradually drop down, you know. Most of them missions were about 20 hours. But we flew from all over, you know. We were starting in South Dakota, ending up down in Florida, over to Texas, over to California, up through Montana. And it was you know, it was a job to do, you did it. You know, you were young then, you didn't really care, you know.
Tell me about, there must have been a lot of fuel. You guys didn't stop to refuel on any of this, did you?
About 30,000 gallons.
So you could have that 20-hour duration to do all that.
You still had fuel left over, you know. It weighed like 400 and some thousand pounds on takeoff. So and we flew to England from South Dakota, England, 20 some hours nonstop.
Did you switch out crews and parts of that, or did you do the full 20?
We usually, every 4 hours you would switch. So we had, sometimes we had 8 hours off, sometimes it was 4, and the next day it's according. Sometimes you carry an extra gunner because you need some flying time. So you had an extra man, and then you get the 3 bunks in the back, Yeah.
What did you think of the tunnels? Tell me about that.
Wasn't bad, you know. It wasn't closed in. It was the tunnel was there, but the plane flew on an angle like this, and you had to go to the front, and you had to go up the, you know, going backwards. It wasn't too bad, and going through the bomb bay, it's like on a catwalk, wearing a parachute on and an oxygen tank. It was, you know, it wasn't too much room to walk through, you know.
What was the food like?
Good. I had no trouble. They had frozen meals, box lunches. They had an electric oven in there. They put the food in. You know. We carried jugs of coffee, you know, water. We picked that up before we left, and that was it. You order your meals. The officers had to pay for the meals. They whatever what they wanted. They frozen meals. We picked that up. Had an opening in the floor, dropped them in because they froze. You got by it. They had a refrigerator. It was automatic refrigerator, you know. But it was good. I don't know if I enjoyed it, but it was nice. Seen a lot of the country, you know. Been down to Texas, Fort Worth, the conveyor plant, into Kelly for repairs, you know, for inspection and stuff.
So,
Oklahoma.
So what's it like seeing this aircraft today at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force?
Yeah. We've been out here, but at least 4 or 5 times. We came out when we only had one hangar left, you know.
Yeah.
Then they started the second one and the third one, and then they pointed the fourth one. So we've been out here a lot, my son and I.
Good deal.
We've been all over, all the air shows and everything. You know.
That's great. That is fantastic. Well, I'm glad you get out and go do all that.
It was enjoyable. I mean, I have no complaint. I can't complain about it. I joined it, so I had to put up what they did to it. It was good. Everything I wanted, I got. You know. What surprised me, I never thought I'd be on flying Saturday because I wore glasses and everything. But they surprised me.